Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wild Woman Podcast. I have a beautiful guest, another beautiful guest with me here today from Connemara on the west coast of Ireland, not far from where I live. And her name is Norah Coyne. She's a healer with many, I suppose, many strings to her bow, I would say. Soul healing, Ascension, and Angelic healing practitioner. She's a teacher and a guide and a tarot reader and a sound healer. All of it is just, it's just so beautiful. I think the times we're now living in, more and more of us are opening up to what's available to us so that we can really, I suppose, reach our full potential in this life and maybe overcome anything that's holding us back. And Nora, that is what Nora helps people do. So we're going to talk a bit about her work. She was already a guest, one of my first guests about a year and a half ago, which we mentioned back in, I think it was September, October 2023. So if you want to go deeper into her story, and we'll talk a little bit about it here, but it's a beautiful episode if you'd like to go back on my channel and take a look at that. So welcome, Norah, and thank you so much for coming back on the podcast.
Hello, Celine. I'm happy to be back to see you, and hello
uh,
to everybody else listening in. So,
It's
yeah,
beautiful.
nice to be
So
here.
it's, yeah, it's really lovely. I was just saying, I hadn't realized, how, the way life is moving very quickly right now, which I'm sure you're feeling too. And I feel like I'm nearly on episode 70 now, which is beautiful. And it's a great gift but to be at this stage to say I'm inviting back a guest who to update us on all the work she's been doing and her plans. But maybe just talk a little bit about what I love. I suppose, yeah, there's so many dimensions to it, but particularly when you talk about ascension, I think it's a topic we hear a lot about now. And I know there are some people I might mention that too, and they'd say, "What? What are you talking about,
Yeah,
ascension?" So
yeah.
maybe just give a little bit of a sense of what's happening from your perspective, and what sort of a journey are we on?
Okay. So with Ascension, so just a very brief part of Ascension is it's where we're growing from the blueprint we came into this life with into where we need to be. And as the planet evolves and the universe evolves, lots of different things happen. So at certain stages within the timeline, things will happen. Like we had COVID, like we had like all these storms, like we have other things, like when Atlantis sank, all those hundreds of years, thousands of years ago. When these things happen, it comes to bring the balance on the planet. Yeah. But also what happens is when we first come into this lifetime, because we all have had many, many lifetimes, when we come into this lifetime, we have a purpose. So we go to the Lords of Karma and they tell us what we're going to do. And karma is not always a bad thing. Karma is a good and a bad thing. But we agree to a lesson we want to learn in this lifetime. And then what we do is we go through a veil, and the veil helps us forget whatever our lifetimes were before. And it doesn't tell us why we're coming into this lifetime once we go through the veil, but our soul knows. So we come into the planet, and when we land on the planet, then we have to learn that lesson. So it's however long it takes us to learn that lesson, brings us to our next path. Yeah. And in that way we ascend. But ascension is also about when Atlantis sank, it was because so many times they tried to rise the energy in Atlantis. They tried to bring in the balance between everybody, the masculine, the feminine, and they wanted to make the place a better place. But then greed would come in, and anger would come in, and all these other things may come in, and then they would sink because it was too much imbalance. Yeah, so when you have things like going on with Donald Trump, God bless him, when you have things like going on, or tsunamis, things like that, that's because the planet needs readjusting. The energy needs readjusting. When we have the things like the darkness we had within the storm and the darkness we feel with inside us sometimes when things are so tough, it's because we're processing stuff within that darkness. Yeah. So we're going into a situation. So we're coming to a period of growth where, right, here I am, Norah, today, and here you are, Celine, and we're at this exact point in our lives. And if we just stayed at this point, this happy day we're in today, we'd never grow. Things would never grow, things would never change. So with Ascension, what it's all about is Melchizedek has our blueprint. So he oversees the planet, and he oversees what's going on with the people in the planet as well. And what he's trying to do is direct us to bring us all back to a natural, bright, loving, even blueprint. Okay. So what we do is we live the best life we can. So if we show a bit of anger, we're going away from our blueprint. Yeah. If we're judging people, we're going away from our that sort of thing. Some lifetimes we've chosen we're going to be that person to rebalance something in another lifetime. Sometimes we've lived enough good lifetimes that we don't have to do that bad one that year. But we have to have a balance, between the two. So really it's about growth and our soul evolving into where it's supposed to be. And for us to be in the light, to stand in the light. Now, if you look around, when I started doing the work I'm doing, just over 25 years now, it's nearer to 30 now. There weren't many people doing healing. I'm not saying that there were still hundreds throughout the world, probably in thousands, but there weren't, like, say, in a place I'm living now in Galway, there might have been 15 people at tops. Now there could be like 1,000 people. Because every time somebody starts to do healing work or realize they're a light worker, what they're doing is they're bringing that lovely high vibration to help us ascend on the planet. So the more and more light workers we get, the more and more people that are kind, the more and more people that stand in their power, in the light, non-judgmental, they're raising the vibration of the planet. So they say 2032 is going to be massive change for us. But they say if we keep working the way we are, because the energy has really risen in the planet, even with the likes of Donald Trump, he's there for a reason.
A
He's there.
disruptor, I sort of feel. And I mean, yeah, I don't think it is
Yeah.
anything as it appears on the surface,
No, and he's
No.
shaking things up.
Yeah.
He's shaking things up like some other politicians because it needs to be shaken up for us to say, well, no, that's not right. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do something to raise this vibration. We're going to bring the light. We're going to shine the light on the situation because he came from light too. I mean, everybody came from light. So whenever we have someone like, I'm not saying Donald Trump only, but we have somebody who doesn't seem like they're doing the right thing. We have no idea why they're doing that thing. There may be a reason he's doing some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But we can only
I feel, well, that would be my feeling, but I mean, we're not going to get into politics,
no,
but it's
no,
not about that.
with people who you're not sure about. Yeah, or people who you feel like you want to judge. That's bringing up things in you haven't dealt with. It's when you're trying to judge someone or be angry towards someone, you have to see what part of that is yours, what part of that is theirs. Why are you in that place? So what you do is you try and have an open heart with love and light, and you visualize that person's light, that person's heart when they were in the light, because they are light inside. So you send love to that light, hoping that light will help the situation. But you can't judge it because maybe they're supposed to be that because they're making you be who you're supposed to be.
I know.
You
It
have
is
to
the
go through
challenge.
your
Yeah.
resentment, your anger, and your
I
frustration.
know.
You've been holding it too long. So that's what Ascension is about, that sort of thing. So with the Ascension work I do, I work a lot with angels. So what I try to do is bring in the angels that I feel will help me with each particular problem that will come along. So if it's like I told you earlier, you knew from the last podcast my father had passed. So when he was passing, I knew it would be a traumatic time. So I knew that I would be not in the greatest place possible. So I asked Archangel Azrael, who's the angel of birth and death, to come
Okay.
in and to help me do the transition, to help my dad's transition, but also to help me transcend, to where I needed to be. So I was actually longer in the period with my father's passing than I was in my mother's. Yeah. But that's probably because I didn't really work hard enough, not hard enough. I didn't process enough through my mother's. So some residue was still left over for my father's. So when my father's passing came, I had to deal with that in a deeper level, because I had to deal with it to bring me through it. And that would be like if you lost a job, it could be, if you went through a divorce or an illness, all about things like that. So when we have these sort of things, we have to grow through them. And if we don't grow through them, we're not ascending. We're just staying there. Yeah. And there's no growth. And we need growth, because the planet was so out of sync and so unbalanced that it needed a strong shift. And that's what's been happening over the last few years, really since 2012, and it's going up to 2032. But by 2032, it's actually looking really, really positive, that things around that time, there's going to be so many light workers here and working for the planet, that things are going to be better. Now, when I say light workers, people think, oh, a therapist or a healer or this person, but it's not. Everybody in the world, it can be a light worker, because we're all born as light workers. So everybody in the world can be somebody who shines the light. So just by that kindness of smiling at someone you walk down the street, just that kindness to not judge people, to think before you speak sometimes, just to accept what's happening sometimes, like the storm. Just accept that the storm had to happen for a reason. You may have had some damage. You may have had some fear with it. Just accept you're feeling the fear for a reason, and to just sort of be with it and work through it, rather than close it off, because it will block you and stop you going forward. Yeah.
It does seem, yeah, no, it does, absolutely. There's so much you said there. I suppose you have to, don't you, I suppose having an awareness or not even an acceptance, but a view that you're on a path of growth in this life, because I don't know that everyone is. I probably wasn't for a long time. Something usually has to happen, but it feels like it's changing because everything has sped up. Like everything is faster, and everything I'm hearing now is that this has been prophesied sized for years and thousands of years,
yeah.
hasn't it? Like there's been many different traditions. I was trying to think of one there I was listening to the other day, but there's so many, and I study astrology as well. So, even now what's happening, and the shift of Pluto into Aquarius and all these other I suppose shifts that are taking place. Are you seeing it more with your clients, Norah? Like, are you noticing that shift directly with the people who are coming to you now?
I am, and I've noticed more clients are coming into me with depression as well. And depression is actually a symptom of ascension. People don't realize that. And tiredness. And tiredness is one of the biggest ones that's coming through to me at the moment. People that can't sleep, people that no matter what they do, they can't get the energy to get up, that sort of thing. They're symptoms of ascension. Because when the universe is sending in new frequencies to us to bring into our bodies. I'm trying to say it in a way that people will understand. So, what happens is when the vibrations are rising in the planet, those vibrations are sent down through to us, yeah, or sent towards us. So to enable our body to actually process those imprints and this new stuff coming in, our body has to be strong enough to do it. So what happens is sometimes it's like such a good brightness that's coming in, or a good energy that's coming in, and our body is not strong enough to take it at that time. So the body just can't work out what's going on. So it just like floors the body, because the body needs to floor or to collapse or needs to rest to be able to let it come in properly. And a lot of people don't realize, and they think, why am I so down? Why can't I sleep? There's nothing going wrong in my life. But it's because they're actually integrating what's going on in the vibration of the planet. So when they allow themselves to rest, they allow themselves to feel, right, okay, so what is it that's making me sad? Why am I feeling that? And to sit with it and try and work with it. And you try to hold space for them, because I'm a spiritual companion. So you try and hold space for them, but not give them the answers, that way, because you need them to enable themselves. Yeah. So you when we say healer, it's not that I heal at people. I help people heal themselves. Yeah. So I'm holding space for them. I might sort of direct them a little bit towards what they're trying to do, but I would never show them a way or tell them a way they should be going, because each of us has a different ascension path as well, even though we're all coming from the same light and going through the same light. We all have different, like I said, with the blueprints, with the laws of karma, we all have a different role to play in this lifetime. Yeah. So some people will be very much into the good stuff, and some people will be our teachers who will be teaching us through doing something we don't like. But all of it is for our growth. So sometimes when the vibration is too strong and we're not ready to process it, we can just get really, really tired, or really, really down, especially if we're not letting it into our head as much as it should. But it will come through. We just have to just sit with it and wait with it and see what's going on. So there's a lot of there's symptoms of ascension as well that we feel are illness symptoms. I mean, some people, of course, they're depressed, and of course, but it's also a symptom of ascension. So when people come in, a lot of people come in and they'll say, I just don't know what I want in life. Yeah. So I say to them, well, just tell me what you don't want. Yeah. And they say, well, I don't want to be in that job anymore, and I don't want that. And I said, look, I said, you don't have to know what you want as long as you know you're on the way there. Yeah. So for you to know what you don't want is just as important as to know what you do want. Yeah. So
Yeah.
sometimes more important, because once you realize that's okay to feel that way, it opens you up to the next part of your journey. So
Yeah.
um, so not to be judging yourself wherever you are, and to know you're exactly in the right place at the right time in your ascension path. You
Yeah.
know?
Do you find as well, Nora, like one thing which cancer sort of, I suppose, helped crystallize nearly for me was I found that the life I was living, like what you're describing, was just this like hamster wheel existence that we're all told, you grow up, you get a job, you get educated, you get da 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 da, da. And that, maybe, I don't know, that got to a place for me where that wasn't fulfilling because it was at a very surface level. And I think that I'm seeing that more and more with people where, being promised this is the prize. If you do all this, you'll be happy. And then you get there and it's like, oh God, I'm not really feeling that. And I often look around and I'll see people and maybe they are quite content. Maybe they have a family and whatever, that is their path. Is that what am I asking you? Like, it just feels that's probably coming more to the surface, that way of life can't really be sustained where we're going if you're just on this superficial level going through the motions. So that obviously is coming up more and more. And what I'm curious is, are people open to the fact that there is a deeper, obviously, if they're coming to you, that there is a deeper soul, spiritual path that we're all on,
Yeah, I
if
think
they haven't been that way inclined before, let's say.
I think people are more open, but I just want to go back to what you said about the
Mm,
place, where you said, like, I've got my house, I've got my family, I've got
mm,
money,
mm,
I've got my,
mm,
and now, and that's where I am. The minute you say that's where I am, or you think you're okay where you are, you've stopped your growth,
mm,
because what happens is you're not open to moving forward, you're not open to anything else. So your path in life never stops. You're forever growing. So if you think this is enough for me now, that's it. It's like, how can you grow any further? You're sort of closing the door. Um, Now, anything material, families are different. Having a lovely family is beautiful, but anything material is not really the right path to be on, because you of course you need stability, you need a good life for the children, you need schools paid for the children. All those are wonderful things to have. But if you think that that's all that makes you happy, or that's going to keep your heart open, it's not sort of enough, because after a while you've had it, you'll be like, well, what else is there? What am I missing? Why
Mm.
is that person always happy and I'm here? I should be really content with this, because your soul's telling you you're not content. But your head might be telling you you're content with it, but your soul is saying, but you've got plenty of time to go forward now. You can grow a little bit more. Maybe you could find new friendships now that you're settled with the children. Maybe you could do a little part-time job to do that will bring you a different direction. Little things like that. So that's how I look at that.
Mm.
I'm not judgmental, because everybody needs to wants to have a lovely life, and there's nothing wrong with having a lovely life, but just to know that that isn't the be all and end all of it.
Mm.
And what was the
Mm.
second question? I've forgotten the second question now.
I can't remember nearly the second question.
Oh, it
I
was,
think it was
are they open? Are people
yes,
open that never
yes,
used to
yeah,
be?
yeah.
Okay. So people are open to, because a lot of people realize that they know there's more than what they have, and when they see so many people doing healing now. So I had somebody in yesterday. So she's a lovely lady. She'd heard the word Reiki, yeah, but she never knew what Reiki was. Just that she knew she needed a bit of rebalancing, because she's going through a few bits. So she came in and she sat down and we went through. She was telling me a little bit, but not too much. And I said, this is how you can work out how people are growing. And I got her to pick out a few Aura bottles, and they are the color you choose. So I thought she doesn't look like the type that's going to tell me much here. So I said, pick up 4 bottles and we'll use them in your session. So she picked up 4 bottles, and then I opened the cards and I told her what they meant. And she was like, and it's not me, because the Aura bottles have the same meaning for every bottle. Each bottle has its own meaning. And when I showed her the card, she was, let me pick a crystal now as well. Let me pick this, let me that. She'd never had any of these things. But she was just couldn't believe how her energy was choosing something.
Mm.
So her energy chose those colors. Those colors gave her the information about what was going on with her that she already knew, so she could authenticate it. Yeah.
Mm.
So then
Mm.
I said, if you pick crystals the same color as the bottles, they might help too. So she did that, and she was like, but the whole way through the treatment, she kept her eyes open. She was like, and I said to her, it's so funny. She's so beautiful, and I knew her energy was beautiful, and she looks so young, for her age. So I think she's got the Mahatma energy going
Mm.
through her, keeping her young. So I think she's well able to heal, because she got the healer card as well in Orasoma. Anyway, and then when she lay down, I said, "Are you okay? Are you relaxed?" She said, "I feel so relaxed, but I'm so excited by what's going on." And it was like a baby in a sweet shop. And I said to myself, my God, she came in, if she only came in for one thing, it wasn't what I did. She was choosing these things herself. She was looking herself, deciding what she wanted, and it was like she was ready to open up. She was like a flower opening up. And I thought, she's already on her path and she doesn't realize it.
Yes, but
Yeah.
she found her way to you, so
Oh,
something
she
brought her
did.
to you,
Yeah, of course, of
you
course.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was meant to be in my life as well, to make me
Mm.
smile like that yesterday, and to make me feel, wow, but look how people can help themselves so easily, and it's like, because we all have that within us.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
it,
I
it,
love how you talk about the energy, because that is really, it's realizing who we truly are, isn't it? And
it,
I know we talked about it before, and it's such a strong, it's the guiding light in my life now is my intuition. And I suppose you have to be sort of tuned into that place in yourself, don't you,
you
to
do.
really then start being guided. Life does start to show you. It's a more it's just it's becoming conscious, isn't it, of who you are and how powerful we truly are, and we are supported and guided. Like the intuitive, even for you, leading you to the work, and I know you've been doing it for 25 years, but it's obviously been a very, can you just talk a little bit about, we talked before, I know, about your childhood and all of that, but just really what led you maybe a little bit into this work, just a little bit
So
of
when,
background
so I've always been touchy-feely, always.
on
And
it. That could get you in trouble.
yeah, I know. And even like, if I go, say, to an airport with a million people and I'm waiting for a plane, somebody next to me would start talking to me and telling me their life story. And I
Mm.
just chat to this person, and he said, "Why you talk? Do you talk to everyone? We're in a hurry, You're talking." I said, "Oh no, she's just telling me about a child, or whatever." And they don't know what I do. Nobody knows what I do because I'm just a stranger in the airport. It might be the person I sit next to in the plane, or I might be in the supermarket thinking what I'm going to have, and someone will start talking to me. And
Mm.
it's like I've always had a relationship with people. I've always had a good relationship with people that I love to get to know people. I love to see people and hear what their life's like and stuff like that. I'm a listener. I'm a good listener, but
Mm.
not taking on everybody's problems or anything like that.
Mm.
But I like to, if someone comes to me and start talking to me, I usually know there's a reason for it, and it doesn't have to be to do with my work or anything like that. It's like that person might have something that's a good idea for me, or energy that's going to help me, or I might have something that might
Mm.
help them. And that's always been my way in life, always. And when I was a child, if someone fell down, I'd be rubbing their leg, and I'd always be a cuddler. Anyway, so when I started working first, I was working in busy offices. I think I told you about the offices before.
Mm.
I'll only go tiny on that.
Yeah.
And I remember I was 15 years working for an Iranian company, and the wife said, "If you weren't with him, Norah, we'd be divorced, because you calm him by working with him, and I can't. And the wife said, whenever you're not in, he's like an antichrist. But when you're in, he's always calmer when he comes home. So she said, don't leave, Norah, because we'll probably get divorced if you're not there. And we used to
Yeah.
laugh about it, but it was a joke. But I knew I did have a calming influence on him because he was really erratic, but he would
Mm.
he would never be erratic to me, but he was a quite erratic man, but he was such a beautiful soul, and I could see his soul, and I knew how wonderful he was as a person and how wonderful she was, of course, the whole family. But she couldn't do that, and I didn't know I was doing it. It was just like the energy was there. So anyway, I had a car accident. I always wanted to be doing this stuff. So I learned. When did I learn the tarot? I'm nearly 30 years now learning the tarot.
Wow.
So I used to do cards for myself, but I could never give myself the true story. And I do the cards, but I'd either be too in my head, too emotionally involved, to do the cards. So if, say, I was going through a breakup in my teenage years, or whatever, and I did the cards, it'd be like I'd want the card to say, "Don't leave," or "He won't leave," or
I know.
whatever.
It's like using the pendulum for yourself, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but
And
the
going,
wrong way, the wrong way.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then I said to myself, I'm going to have to learn to read these cards because I'm too emotional. So I went to the College of Psychic Studies in London, but I also learned in the London Tarot School. So
Okay.
I was doing them myself. I could do them a bit for my friends, but it was more guesswork. It was only like I was very young. And then when I went to the College of Psychic Studies, I did an angel mediumship course. It was only a short one with Charles Virtue, Doreen Virtue's son. And then I did a little bit with Doreen Virtue and Diana Cooper. I did training with Diana Cooper as well. And then I went to the London Tarot School and I learned about the tarot. And it was a man that was teaching the tarot. And he was a wonderful teacher, but it was masculine energy, within the tarot. So I knew I learned the tools of the tarot and I knew he taught me well, but I was still missing something. And I thought, no feminine stuff going on here. So I went to learn with a lady called Tiffany as well, who's a friend of mine, and she taught me from the feminine aspect. Yeah. So
Mm.
once I learned with her, then I knew I had it. I knew I was in the right place with the tarot. And I did the tarot for a few years before I had a car accident. And when I was always going for massages and having nice sessions and stuff, but I didn't really know, did I want to go into it? But I had this car accident and I was a year, no, or 18 months, maybe a bit longer, having physio. And I used to go into this physio because it was my sister's insurance company that was paying. So they said you have to have a physio each week. He said you need like this amount of time. So I'd walk in the door, he'd put me on the bed, he'd click me and he'd put me off the bed. That was it. Yeah. And he charged the physio company and I'd come out and 2 days later I'd be the same. So I was talking to a girl that I know and I said, oh, I just really wish I could sort this out. This is really not good for me. It was my shoulder and my neck. And I said, I just want it gone, you know. So she said, go to see, have you heard of Julianne? And I said, no. She said, there's this wonderful girl called Julianne. She's in South London. She said, go to her. So I walked in the door to Julianne, and within 20 minutes, she had my shoulder sorted. 20 minutes after a year and a half. And it was soft tissue muscle work rather than the clicking. So I said to her, I would so love to do this, so love to do this. And she said, you'd never believe it. This teacher that I trained with, she's a real weird teacher, shamanic practitioner and teacher. So weird, it was unbelievable. She was like a powerful witch, you know, she was fantastic. She said, Anya Saunders, she said, Anya's coming. She said, to London, she's going to do this course. It's just an introductory, Norah, just to see if you do it. So I did the course with her. I don't know, did I tell you this before? Anyway, so I did the course with her, and the lady I was working on fell asleep. And I said to her, I really want to go on and do this. I knew that day I was never going to go back from anything. I was never going to do anything else but that. So when I went I went on to do the big course with her and whatever. She then taught us the healing. She taught us community healing. We were working with AIDS patients at the time, and she did community healing ceremonies where there'd be one circle with the person who was dying in the middle, and they'd be the immediate family here, and then there would be the closest friends here, and then there would be the healers here, and there'd be like voice work and healing going on, and we do these community healing circles, and that got me into wanting to learn more about the healing side of it. You know, where can I go from here? What can I do next? And I went on then and I did the Reiki. The Reiki I did in London, I did a thing called Arch, Ancient Rainbow Conscious Healing, which is a deep thing. And then I went on and did I've done about, I'd say 25 healing modalities. I've done loads of different ones. So I do nearly every one probably.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And then I
But you've been
went,
so intuitively guided, haven't you? You just
yeah,
sound like you
totally
really
from one
followed.
to the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was coming over, everybody was saying to me, "You'll never make money in Connemara. There's no one there, you know." And I said, "Well, I don't care," because my boss had agreed it was okay at that time to leave him. So I said to Matt, "Right, you take my stuff," and he took the couch, he took everything, and I said, "I'll go on the plane," because I was working still that week. So I was just getting on the plane. And I got a text on my phone, and it was from a woman from America who was booking in. It wasn't even decorated the room properly. Who was booking in for her and her daughter. And I said, this is a sign. This is telling me, because I put a website up. I hadn't even come into the country and I had a booking. And I said, if that's the way it's going to be, that's the way it's going to be. It did take a few months. But every time I go into a healing modality, like I learn it. So maybe like I learned Reiki, then it takes me off to other aspects of Reiki. Yeah. Then I learn something to do with the angels, and that would take me off onto another aspect of angels to learn. And it's sort of like that. So with the Reiki I'm doing, like it's a rose Reiki now. It's working with the Magdalene within the Reiki, which is beautiful, soulful. Yeah, it's lovely.
Oh,
Yeah, with the energy of Mary Magdalene. So that's the way to do it. And with the sound, I've gone from the sound, I just still do all the wonderful sound, but I do sonic soul healing as well. So what it is using your voice. So the person is lying on the couch and you're working through their energy, and you're working with your voice, and you're seeing what your voice will channel. And it's trying to bring in the defragmented pieces of their soul into one piece. That's if it's I can never say that word, defragmentated. But if
yes.
not, you tell them it's not, but you can still do some lovely voice work with them as well, you know.
But that's is that a new development, Nora?
Very new. Yes, it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Because
very
voice,
scary. People in
yeah,
Ireland, they don't like, they're like, oh no, no.
no, but it's so weird. I've been getting this message and it's all week around voice. and
Oh, bless
vibration, and just keep getting this image in my mind, and the vibration and voice and words and channeling. It's so interesting how did that suddenly, how did that happen or
It
come
came
up?
through in COVID because what happened is I've always worked with sound, and one of
Mm,
the modalities that I learned, because I learned them all separately as well as a group together. So what I did is I learned the pieces I wanted first, like I did Tibetan bowls, then I did
mm,
tuning forks, then I did gong, but then I did a course where you learned the whole lot together as well. So I've learned with different masters, because when I like something, I want to say, how does that person do it? And how does that teacher do it? And that teacher's got a good reputation. I'd like to learn a bit from that teacher, and I get the balance between, because sound, actually, there are a lot of male teachers in sound, especially with the gong. But the gong has a lot of feminine aspects as well within it. So I use loads of gongs, but the symphonic gong that I have, it has like angel tones coming out of it. But some of the gongs you have will be really, So I have a balance within the clear. I think I have 5 set up all the time, and I have a balance between them to give a bit of masculine energy, a bit of feminine as I play. So anyway, when I first I learned the Tibetan bowls first, then the tuning forks, and then I went on and I worked with uh, Cherubel Sanson and Tim Wheater. Tim Wheater's really big in England.
yeah, I've heard his name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's amazing, absolutely amazing. Anyway, so I did some training with Tim Wheater. And while I was there, they were teaching us some tuning fork work. And they said, "Have you tried the 111?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And it hurts, And they said it's really good for like miracles and stuff like that. It does a lot of stuff. It's good for voice as well. So I said, "All right." Then he said, "You can get them from a woman called Ashira Hart in Bali." Yeah. So I said, "All right." And I said, "Does she do any work?" And he said, "She's doing sonic soul retrieval." And I said, I phoned her first tonight about the tuning fork. And then I said, "Have you ever have any soul courses coming up?" And we were coming through stuff, doing other stuff. And she said,
Mm,
"Actually, Nora, when I have one, I'll let you know." And when she phoned me, it was through COVID, because I didn't speak to her for a
mm,
while. It was
mm.
through COVID. And she said, "Nora," she said, "I'm actually going to do one online from Bali." So I said,
Wow.
"Seriously?" She said, "Yeah." So she taught us. We were all over the world, the people she taught. And it was like quite a small class. There was only about 7 of us on the class. And she was really deep. She was a very deep teacher. And then we had to bring in bodies and like do the demonstrations while she was watching online and whatever. And I brought my neighbour in. My neighbour, she's not into healing, she's into massage. I said, "Do you want to do this for me? Because of COVID, I can't bring anyone else in. So she came in then, and she lay on the bed. And I was like, "I wonder now if I'm doing this right, because I might scare the life out of this poor woman on the bed, because you don't know what noises are going to come out, or what vibrations." And I did it, and I was quite loud. And the Shira was saying afterwards, "No, I could tell you were in the right energy when you were working." So, and she asked the lady, and I was like, "Oh, she's going to say she's scared." And she went, "Actually, that's exactly where something was wrong with me at a time in my life." Because you can work out timelines with it. And
With it. Wow.
with it,
Right.
yeah, with the voice, how the tones go. And she said, "That's exactly when so and so happened." And I was like, you know, and I was terrified to do it, because I was thought I would scare her. So when I advertise it, I say, "If you want to go deeper, if you're not worried," because
So are
yeah,
you clearing, you're clearing, is it from different timelines, or you're clearing
yeah,
blockages? Is it that
yeah.
might
Now
be,
what's
how
happened?
is it?
What happens in the different lifetimes you have? Yeah, parts of your soul may stay there. Parts of your soul may come through, or your whole soul may be whole coming through. If you don't learn the pattern of the life you were supposed to in that lifetime, you might leave a bit of the soul fragmentation there. So what it's about soul healing is to try and draw everything from each of those lifetimes and bring it back into your soul. So you're bringing your soul back into where it's supposed to be. Yeah. So you might be here and you might go, it's also, something really scary or whatever. And you might be here, it might be, it might be, some places might be, "Oh, that's ready to come in, that part. It just got lost for a little while." Or you forgot that you were part of that. You forgot who you were for a little while, or you went off path for a little while. And it's actually you have your hands on the person still doing the work and whatever, and you use one hand going through, you're feeling the energy, like we do in Reiki and IT and things like
Mm,
that. And then you're actually working with the voice, and you're just letting whatever voice wants to come out. And you've got to have no fear doing it, because the voice isn't for you, the voice is for that person. You're just channeling. Uh,
mm,
and when you channel, that's all you're doing. You're helping that person find their way. Yeah. So
mm.
I actually love that.
It's a
They're a
beautiful,
bit
yeah.
scared. They're a little bit scared, some people. So
But it,
I
yeah,
don't advertise it as much. But if it's someone I think could do with some deep work, or they're into deep, they really want to try and clear stuff. I say to them, why don't you just try it, even if it's like a half-hour session instead of a full session, and then put a bit of healing work with it, so that to give them to calm them before I do it, and then to calm them afterwards.
yes.
That way.
Yeah. But it
Yeah.
sounds like we're returning to, well, we are, aren't we, to all of like sound, color, light, all the
Yeah.
natural sort of healing
Oh,
tools that are available to us without anything else, aren't they? Like it's
for
it's
sure. Like
mm,
we, when we're working with Ascension, to work to be in a good place to ascend, it's always good to have your 12 chakras balanced. Rather than seven, where most people have seven. So we'll balance the Earth star, we'll balance the Soul star, the causal. We'll balance all 12. And if you can keep those fairly balanced, you'll be in a really good place. To go forward, and to be who you are. But a lot of us, we're a little bit out of sync, but just we start off the day really wonderful, and then
mm.
something will knock us off balance, and it might knock this chakra out a bit, or this chakra. So it's always good to rebalance your chakras every morning or every night, to
And
just,
how do you suggest people do
yeah.
that?
Yeah, well, it's just really, you can visualize a light. So firstly, you can work from your heart, and you can visualize a heart coming, a bright light in your heart, and the light is coming up through your throat, through your third eye, through your crown, up to your other chakras. And then as it goes up, then to the top, you visualize like a shower of light coming down, coming all the way through all the different chakras back down to the Earth star. So the Earth star is 12 inches beneath your feet. So it's like a rod of light. You're keeping them
Mm.
all in. Yeah. If you feel anything's out of balance, you can just hold on to those chakras. I do have a list of the 12, and an exercise you can do, like for your sacral, you can just do wiggle your hips, and different ones, like for your throat is just an opening. So if anybody wants it, they're welcome to ask, and I can give them
Okay.
a print out of
Yeah,
it.
and I'll have all your contact. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and yeah,
fantastic.
they can ask you, and I'll send it
Hmm.
to you. And what happens is, if the chakras also work with sound and color. So that's why I mentioned it, because the sound coming in. So you'll have an ah, and that will balance. And then there might be an e or an So if you try to balance the fifth dimensional chakras, the 12 of them, if you use sound and color, yeah, and movement, is really
Sound, color,
good, and it
movement.
really
Yeah.
brings you in. So you can have you can get the crystals that relate to those as well, if you want to. You don't have to, but really, if you just do the exercise in the morning, it's enough to set you up for the day.
Okay,
And
very good. Yeah.
and if your chakras are in balance when you leave the house, stuff isn't going to affect you as much. The
Mm.
more you do it, the stronger you'll get in your center, the more powerful you'll feel and empowered towards, as you're ascending.
Yes, it feels like it's very, I'm feeling it myself anyways. It's very, what would I say, very important. I'm feeling this need to get very physically, spiritually strong or disciplined, or
Yeah.
that's really important. Like I do yoga, but I started another class. I could feel my body saying there's so much energy going through it. I have to move. Now I walk a lot, but it sounds like really to honor what you're being called to. Like it's going to be different for everyone. I just knew I'm not sleeping recently, just the last while. It's not that much, but I can feel the energy at night. And I said, I have to move and do it. Or it could be certain foods, isn't it? That's shifting as well, like what we're eating. I can't eat certain things that I used to eat. So it's not to feel that there's something wrong. This is what's happening. We're sort of detoxing on many levels, aren't we?
Yeah.
For this to happen, we have to be, or we'll be triggered into something, maybe like you said, an illness or something that it's not to worry. It's just this is part of the process, isn't it? Whether, um, there's not much, that's just part of the process that we're going through. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And the better you eat, the lighter you are, likewise as well. And even if you don't eat really healthy, I mean, most of us need to eat really healthy. Now, I have a sweet tooth. Uh, so sometimes, I do give my body what it wants, because I figure sometimes your body needs that for a reason. So if you do have to have something that's not really healthy, to bless it before you put it in your body, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and send positive energy to it, and just ask the food to give you the best nourishment it can, you know.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
another way of working with Ascension, to bless whatever you're putting in your body, you know.
Yeah. That's
If
lovely.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you're going into a place where you're thinking, oh, I might get a bit upset here, to bless everyone in that place before you go in, to send light before you into that place, to just keep things bright and good for you. But its intention is very important in
Yeah. I
this
was going to
as
say that.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it? That's
Because
how powerful we are.
Oh my God, yeah, because
Mm.
energy follows intention. So if you intend things to grow and to evolve, they will.
Mm.
But also, because we're going through a very fast ascension time at the moment, it doesn't seem fast between now and 2032, but it has come really fast
Yeah.
from 2012. And if you see the weeks, they seem much faster than they used to be. You're on Monday, next
I know. The
Friday, and I'm like,
days are.
where's the days?
It's like we're in what? We're March. Like in
Yeah,
some ways, it
yeah.
feels we should be further into the year. It's very, and I've noticed. I saw someone talking about it on some YouTube video yesterday. I was talking to someone, and they were asking me something about earlier in the week, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember what I did. I literally had to take out my calendar and go, "Oh, is that what I did?" Like it was like that was years ago. It's so strange. So it's not to feel, what's wrong with me? This is normal what we're going through. What it does
Definitely.
strike me, Nora, as well, can I just ask you, and I want to ask you a little bit about your group work, and we might do a little bit of tarot as well before we finish up. And I know you do retreats, but and it is something, what you talked about at the beginning about, I suppose the disruption and everything shifting, like we have to see within ourselves and in the world, maybe the dark of what maybe had been covered up for years. And all of this, I suppose, is coming to light in ourselves and in others. And I suppose maybe it's a question that I have, is that often, like we were saying, you have people sometimes coming to you with symptoms. There's a lot of people I'm meeting and would say, oh, there's nothing going on. I'm just going about my business. And I'm like, how are you not feeling? Like, how would you describe? Is it just that they're on a different path, or or maybe they're experiencing it, their view of what is happening is very different, maybe that the world has gone crazy and we're all going to hell. And I would look at it the opposite, but
Well,
yeah,
it's also because, like I said at the beginning, we're empaths. So we have empathy with whatever's going on. So being an empath is an absolute beautiful thing, but it can also have more effect on you than others, like so things will affect you much more deeply. But if you see a lot of people will go out and they'll be going around as if nothing's wrong because it's not affected them in any way, shape, or form. They might have lived their past as an empath before, and they might be on the planet this time, so that they're going to be horrible, not horrible, but not horrible.
I know, but
That
well, we need
they're going
we
to be
need the
like they,
dark and the
yeah,
light, though, don't
yeah,
we?
yeah.
That's the reality of this world. It's
But
yeah.
also, by every time you meet those people, it brings you into like your empathic place again. So it's actually helping you grow by meeting people like that, because they are doing a balance. So sometimes, as empaths, we can be too high in energy because we want everything to be beautiful and light, and we want everything to be wonderful. So sometimes we need something to ground us. And when we say, how does that not affect you? What's going on? You know, and it's because we have to remember we mustn't judge people. We must let them lift their path. They must, if they don't agree with what we're doing, it doesn't matter. There's nothing we can do to change them. It's not our job to change them. It's our job to, okay, so that's who they are. That's the path they've chosen. Let them live that life. We cannot do anything to change it. So there's nothing we can do with things like that, just to live the
Mm.
best life we can. But also, you can still send light to their heart and see will their heart open, but it'll only open if it wants to. But if they haven't chosen to open their heart towards what's going on in this lifetime, then they have to live the one they've chosen it for a reason, that contract that they've signed with the laws of karma coming in. They've chosen that path. There's nothing in the world we can do, even though we want to. But it might bring out some things in us like that. Why don't you change? Surely you must change. But that's because we have to clear that rubbish ourselves, be
I
non-judgmental.
know, I
Really,
know, I
really, yeah,
know. I'm really seeing that now. And I suppose that is the challenge as all of this gets faster and more accelerated. And
yeah,
it's everything's becoming more, what's the word, in your face nearly. It's very, so it can feel like it's getting worse when it isn't. Like I can see that in myself. And often I had the experience of someone, I wouldn't say shouting, but saying something to me. And it's only recently I went, oh my God, that's what I've often felt myself. They were reflecting back to me a wound I've been carrying. And I never really, I was like, oh my God, it actually has to be nearly shouted at you for you to realize this is, this is, I suppose, project out, don't we?
we
What it
do.
is that's coming up for healing. But I suppose that's just the path, and it's not always easy, even though, we know that this is, yeah. Where do you see us getting to in 2032? So in your world, what does that look like?
Ooh, I'd love to say I know, but
Well, what do you
I really
see?
do
What would you
think
like to see?
that
Yeah.
yeah, I think the likes of Donald Trump, I'm not saying into politics or anything like that, but
Yeah.
likes of him and Putin and all these people and all the stuff going on that's very heavy at the moment. I really believe it's going to rebalance. I really believe in my heart. And maybe it's a dream I have that it's going to, or maybe it's a feeling. I think it's more a feeling that everything has to, excuse the words, all the shit has to hit the fan before it can be dealt with. So it will probably get a bit worse before it gets better. But then once it gets worse, it can only get better, that way. So, and I think because the energy of the planet is lifting more, that we will be more in tune with the earth. We will be more in tune with what's going on. We will be caring about each other more, and we will be trying to do more for other people. Because we've been in so many different stages of places. Like sometimes we're just in the money stage, sometimes we're like in the angry stage, sometimes we're in this stage. I think people will start to realize what's important about people. We'll be nicer with nature. I really believe that we are going to get there, but I think there's going to be some big shifts before that that's going to knock us off balance quite strongly, because I think the clearing has to happen. We're also going to look into our shadows a little bit, our shadow side. We're going to see some of our stuff coming up because we're still growing, but then when 2032 comes, that's not the end. That's not when we're all going to be lovely and light. That's just going to be a shift to 2032. Then there's probably going to be maybe 30
We
20.
may not be around. We'll have to come
Yeah,
back in another lifetime to see.
no, we'll be around 2032. Yeah, it might be
Oh, well, hopefully
yeah,
2032. But
yeah,
yeah,
2042, there might be another shift,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So it will be forever evolving, forever evolving. It won't be just like, that's just because that's where the main calendars and everyone's saying about the 2032. So they pick the places, and it's probably in astrology too. They pick the places
Mm,
where they see a big shift coming as well. And they see the movement towards that shift happening as well. So then once that you get to there, then a new shift will be starting to move forward. But we'll have got rid of so much crap by 2032,
yeah,
so
yeah,
much negative, really deep, strong, angry masculine energy,
yeah.
um, and sometimes there's strong angry feminine energy as well. People don't realize that, sometimes it's both, but we're
Like
becoming more
Kali, is it?
balanced.
Who's the,
Yeah, but
yeah.
there we'll be more in balance with stuff, and
Mm,
that'll help us go up to the next level and the next level, because our lives are all about going up those steps to ascension, um, and each time we ascend a bit more, they'll give us another lesson to learn. And then we'll ascend a bit more, then we'll get another lesson to learn. Because if you stop moving, you stop ascending.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So We want to clear most of our stuff, our lessons. And when you work with things like the Akashic Records, stuff like that, you can look back at all the lives you've had, what contracts you wrote, what you brought into this world, what vows you made, and they're all to do with what's going on with us in our lives, And when you start clearing some of those, it brings you into a better place for you as well. So I think what we'll see towards 2032 is we'll see an upsurge in probably everyone being angry and not understand what's going on, and then we'll see it going down again. But it's
Yeah.
more positive now than it's ever been.
Yeah, I feel that. And I
Yeah,
feel even the people that you say that are coming in, and I know a lot of people are going, oh my God, they're all.
yeah,
I actually nearly see it the opposite. I think what they're uncovering is
they
what
are.
we have believed to be good, but actually
Oh,
isn't good.
yeah.
So you're always going to like say, shoot the messenger. So it's funny, like, because I don't really follow the news. I
Yeah.
haven't for
I
years.
try to turn it off all week.
Yeah, I don't because my sense is it's actually nearly the opposite of what we're, and it's going to play out a bit like that because that is how it has to. Because if we, and not even to get into all that, but I do feel all of these systems do have to collapse. And if your life has been very invested in particular systems, for many people, they don't want to see them collapse. So it's very easy to point fingers at people who are maybe saying this needs to go. So, there's so many layers and layers and layers. I think, yeah, it is. It's a very personal journey, isn't it? It's a very
I think
inward.
so.
We're all going to experience it very differently depending on where we're at.
Yeah.
That's why I stay away from what's being projected at us because I sort of feel no, I just, yeah, it doesn't really resonate with me.
Yeah.
I feel there's a lot of limitation and stuff that's being cleared or layers that the false matrix, as it's often called, has to sort of, doesn't it? Um, because it
Sure.
doesn't feel real. I don't know about you, but I feel there's a whole reality that's waking up in me that has nothing to do with the world. I know that sounds crazy, and I know we have to live on this earth, but this is how we create it, isn't it? We have to start embodying it in ourselves, and then it ripples out rather than looking externally for that to be fixed. I think that's where the big shift is, isn't it? It's,
Oh, definitely.
you know,
Because
mm,
what's going on in the world is just a tidying up and
yeah,
process,
yeah,
really. We're the ones who are the light. We're the ones who are
yeah.
part of the planet. We're the ones who are going to change things. We're the ones who are shining the light where it's needed. The other stuff
Mm,
is just they're just little tests or they're little teachings or
yeah,
whatever. They're
yeah,
just shaken up because
yeah,
they have to. But the world needed to shake up because there was so much, like you said, hidden.
yes.
I think just before we spoke the last time, there was loads of stuff getting uncovered about people who were tied up in houses. Do you remember that? People who have been abused for years.
Mm,
The bad things that had happened, like in the governments, there was stuff, lots of hidden stuff going on. And this is all ascension. It's finding those.
mm,
I mean, it was so hidden for so long. So it's a really good thing. And I know that sometimes we don't agree with what's going on in the world,
mm,
but it's highlighting stuff and it's making
yeah,
people think. Um,
yeah.
I don't put the news on at all.
No, neither do I.
Yeah, what I do is I like to get a paper one day a week, which he gets it the Sunday mail, Sunday mail. I don't know why I get Sunday mail, it's probably from my English days. So I get that and I might have a quick peek through it in about 5 minutes and see what's going on in the world and then close
It
it.
gives you a flavor of, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just and I look for positive stories,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, that's it. We don't hear, but isn't it, what sort of came to me recently is like we are the creators, and as you talked about energetically, so what we see in the material world is almost, what would I say, finished, if you know what I mean? It's the end result. So it's like you made a cake and you're looking at it and say the cake is awful. Well, you say, well, it's made, that's finished now. So what's going on in us, to me, I just look out there and go, I don't know how to describe it. Do you know what I mean? That's done. That's the result of the energy we were embodying
Yeah,
before now. But
before.
it's playing out now. Now it's probably getting faster. So what we're embodying now, what we each time when it's like looking at our own lives, isn't it? When you see
Yeah,
it sort of maybe improve and it'll go through ups and downs, you'll go, okay, well, I'm probably emanating out at maybe a higher frequency now and my vibration has shifted. So It helps me to look at the world like that because
Yeah. And that's a beautiful way to
like
look
a
at it.
movie that's happened, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And and everything that's happened, even the negative stuff, has been a gift or a talent for us, and a lesson learned. And we've as we've gone through them, we've learned what we needed from that situation. We brought that forward, the rest we've left behind, that way. And it's
Yeah.
lovely to hear what you've just said, because it's really lovely Ascension way of thinking about it. and
Mm.
and to think that you can stand in your power and your light no matter what's happened in the past, because going to the past is never going to help us ascend.
Yeah.
you know
When you start to know, I suppose that's the shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're not victims of this, we're like we are co-creators, let's say. So once you shift to that, then the onus totally switches up to it's up to each of us rather than going, oh my God. Because I've witnessed, and it's not a criticism, I've done it myself. Well, maybe it is, but I think there's a need for more and more people, and I'm doing my best to try and be that, who are not afraid. I don't mean going out fighting with people, but to stand in truth about anything in your life, in from a loving place. And I've sometimes had it said to me, "Oh, just keep the peace," and I'm like, "Well, I don't see that's not necessarily keeping the peace. If you know what I mean." So that's what's sort of happening in the world as well. I think there's an element of, "Oh, look, can we just forget? Let's not look at any of that." And it's
Avoid it.
understandable. None of us do. But because it's happening, whether we like it or not now, I think it's just to shift and realize this is positive. It appears. And again, for anyone listening, depending on where, like we're all have different perspectives on it, but that's how I see it. This has to happen. This just there's
Yeah.
the necessary, but more people need. There are more, I think, brave people and courageous people who are standing up and speaking out. Whatever it happens to be, and I think that's always good. And then the work of of you and more people like you and all of us, that's so needed as well, because that is the healing, really, isn't it? That
Yeah.
for
And
all that's
everybody.
coming up, it's so important now.
Yeah. And everybody who stands in their power, be a little old lady in the street who's not doing any healing, be it a child of 4 years old. Children have they say
Yeah,
without thought, and they're so honest and pure children.
that's
And
it. That
yeah,
purity, really, of
yeah.
word, and yeah.
And just to just stand there and not be something part of something you don't want to be part of, and to if you feel something's not true or not fair, or to stand with it, but in a kind way, without
Mm,
harming others,
mm,
and just to be in your power, and keeping the peace, as you said, keeping the peace sometimes will just keep the peace until it boils over. And
yeah. Like,
it
is
festers.
it keeping the peace? I suppose it's just
Oh,
a
it
word
could
I've heard a lot, and
right.
you go, what does
Yeah.
that really mean? Because
And
it's
he's
like
not
keeping the
saying anything,
status.
keeping it as it is, I'm guessing.
Yeah, just keep the status quo. And I just think, yeah, it's sort of a reminder to me as well, as like you said, it's with compassion, but it's
Yeah.
particularly when you talked about the empaths, because I know that's been my path in life, and I struggled with it a lot, because a lot of the time then I shut down and I turned to alcohol and other things because it was too much. So you're coming back into, I think, which is from what you're saying as well, I feel part of Ascension. So we all have this empathic energy, but it's also to be able to balance that with, that's what the message I'm getting. And maybe people listening, I don't know if there are others, maybe you may feel the same, where now it's been, okay, that's fine, but we're living in this material world. So even in terms of boundaries, in terms of your voice, your courage, your strength, to speak like a child with truth and not feel afraid. And, I think once you're coming from your heart, it's okay. It's very different coming from the ego and from a very angry place. So I think that's what's needed more for more of the empaths as well,
Yeah.
to bring their voice, like what you're doing with that soul retreat. That sounds so beautiful as
Yeah.
well.
Mm.
It's just a really beautiful energy to be bringing in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just so what I might ask you, just before you said you might do a little reading with the
Yeah.
cards, which would be lovely. If
I was thinking what I might do. 12 cards.
Okay.
I'm going to do three in December. There's a 12 card spread you can do. It's really nice. It's a gentle one. It's more angel fairy than tarot. I thought it might be nice
Yeah.
little energy. We can do tarot if you want instead.
No,
Uh,
whatever you
yeah.
feel.
It's a
please.
really positive energy in these. So
Lovely.
what we could do is how the year's going to unfold in a positive light for people.
Yeah, that
I
sounds really
think
good.
it might be nice for your readers, or your listeners, sorry,
Mhm.
something like that. Or we could maybe take 3 cards for you. We'll work it out. We'll just see how we go. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We
Um,
might do that as well. See if
yeah.
we've time.
Yeah.
And I want to tell people just before we finish up, we'll put all of your contact details because you're doing group work and retreats as well, Nora, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So what I'm doing is I've always done goddess work and sound work and empowerment retreats, but I'm actually going back a bit now to my angel work. And it's not going back, it's because so many new angels have come in.
Mm,
Ascension. So a lot of new angels have come in, and a lot of people don't know all the new angels. So, and each angel helps us with a different ascension path. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing angel trainings, angel workshops. I'm going to be doing them online and in person, and I'm
oh,
also going
excellent.
to hold angel retreats. So that with them you can be one day doing the retreat like a day retreat, or you can do an overnight retreat. So it's a 2-day retreat, a weekend retreat. So it's like to truly immerse in the angelic realm. And when we're
Mm,
doing that, we will also be learning about ascension and how they affect us on our ascension path. So it'll be teaching you tools to help you go forward in life. Yeah, but
okay.
it'll be fun. It'll be fun, gentle, nurturing. It'll be quite powerful as well. But it's just really special to me at the moment. So
Yes.
I just think it's where I feel like that direction is where I want to go for the rest of the year, probably even. I am doing the other work, but for the rest of the year, I think that would be a really nice place to take people to help
Mm,
them grow, and to help them find their space wherever they want to be. Yeah, so that's where I feel I'm going to go
lovely.
now for a little while, and teach
Oh,
them.
the angelic realm sounds lovely. I feel that very much, that sort of angelic
Yeah,
presence. It is our true nature, really, isn't it? We're
it is.
come from we're that angelic.
Yeah.
Um,
Because we're all born with our own guardian angel, and that brings us into this life. And that guardian angel will stay with us the whole of our life. And then we can ask that guardian angel to bring in whoever we need to help us with. You don't need to know what every angel does. Even if you say, can you bring in the angels I need at this moment, to bring the ones you need. I usually work with a pyramid of angels, so 3. So I always ask for one to be in front of me and one to be either side of me to help me wherever I'm going. And then I sort of try and meditate and see which 3 are coming. But I usually know the 3 that are with me because they're very similar. One I had a long, long time ago that I have a lot now, and I was like, what? It was Tomiel, and it was
Tomiel. Oh, I've never heard
Tomiel. No, a lot of
it.
people have.
Tommy.
Yeah, because he used to be a doubting Thomas.
Ah,
And now, so they usually come when someone doubts themselves or is insecure or worried. So whenever I'm in that kind of place, I'm saying, Tommy L, come out. Because he changed from doubting doubting Thomas to Thomas the believer. So
hmm,
Tommy L is of God, Thomas of God, and he's Thomas the believer, for you to believe in yourself. Great angel to work with, especially on your ascension path.
lovely.
So yeah, so that sort of thing. But I'll still be doing my angel and tarot card reading, so I all the time, and whatever people need really.
Yeah. Well, I'll put all the links to all of your.
Okay, no worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to maybe move this back a tiny bit. So
Perfect.
with the 12 card reading, this is really gentle. So they'll actually, with these ones, there'll be a message and a word on the cards. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to maybe just put this down till I just get them read. So
Perfect. And
what
I'll
we're
just say while you're doing it, sorry, Nora, that you
yeah,
also, and I'll put a link to it, you have your own little YouTube, your own little, but your own
yeah,
YouTube channel where I've seen you putting readings up as well. So I'll put a
yeah.
link to that people might like
Ah,
to
thank you.
check out as well. It's lovely and your lovely tablecloth.
Ah, I
Oh,
know. I've had this since I was in Camden, believe it or not.
wow.
Yeah. And it's the only one I'll put my cards in because I just feel you should always cover your cards in something special, with redemption.
Mm,
So if you see here, I'll just show you because they could do this at home as well, your listeners, if they want.
yeah.
We have 12 cards. Yeah, they're all upside down, so I can't see them. Okay. So we have 12 cards here. So this is not one for every month, although you could do it one for every month if you wanted to. Yeah. We have 6 fairy cards and 6 angel cards, but you can do it with any deck you want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to turn over the cards one by one. And we're just going to, I'll be showing you on the screen properly. And what we're going to do is we're going to just see what the year's got for us in a positive light. So we'll have 6 messages and then we'll have 6 words, and I'll explain how they all go together. Yeah.
Okay,
If
perfect.
you just put this maybe over there, I'm just going to
Yeah, we can see them there now.
you see them?
Yeah, can see most of them. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
I'll
Yeah,
bring
got
them
them.
over
Yeah,
here.
perfect. Yeah, if you bring them over a little bit, that's excellent.
So
Yeah.
don't worry that you can't
So,
see me because it's about the cards at the
yes,
moment.
exactly. If you're listening and not watching, you'll hear the messages.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So here we go. So we're going to go from here, 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 here. So
Okay.
first card. So this is how the year's going to end in a positive light for you, or how it's going to unfold, I should say, in a positive light for you. So with the first card we've taken is the summer. So this is saying everything that you're asking for becomes yours in the summertime. So if there's anything that you're feeling you'd really like to bring into your life right now, or you like to bring to fruition, or that you're growing and you want to know when it's going to come out in the best possible way, it's around the summer months. So the summer months are going to be the months that are going to be the best for you. So then we're going to turn the next card. So this is a card about staying with nature. It's called Flower Power. So when you think of nature, we always think of the trees and whatever, but nature has so many different scents and smells and aromas. And when we smell those aromas, or when we're near those aromas, they can actually bring out certain feelings in us, certain energy within us. Yeah. So it's about being around things that when you smell them, or when you're near them, they bring you calmness, they bring you peace, they bring you good feelings. So when you're out in nature, because it's flower power, it's about being in nature as well. When you're out in nature, to sit against a tree, but sit where there's flowers, or sit where there's scents that, if there's rosemary around, or like, you don't want to be sitting near garlic unless you love garlic, So just to sit where you can sense things and where you can see things that liven your senses. Yeah. So it's a good period for you to be out. Now remember, this card has come and it said around the summertime. So summertime is probably when the flowers are going to be at their best, from spring to summer. Yeah. So just to see how else it unfolds. So the next card then we have is Affirmations. So this is about a card to tell you that for you, when you say something, like me and Celine were talking about earlier, that energy follows intention. So if you're saying every day, oh, I know it's not going to work, I know it's going to get worse, I know the weather's going to be bad, you're putting that energy out there. Yeah. But when you put out the energy of a positive affirmation, which is what this is, when you put the energy of a positive affirmation, positive things will come. Yeah. So I'm just going to read the card for you. So to lift up your thoughts and energy and to attract what you desire, always use positive affirmations. So it's telling you to try and be positive this year. If you're positive, things will work out a lot better for you. If you're negative, you'll be careful what you wish for or what you say. Yeah. So it's all part of Ascension, changing up the way we put the energy out there, the words. This is always my favorite one. Goodbye to the old, hello to the new. You've finished one part of your life and a new and better one is beginning. Yeah. So if you feel that something's leaving your life and you're unhappy about it, just to know that it's leaving for a reason. It's leaving because there's something better coming in its place. Yeah. So endings sometimes affect people quite badly, and they hold on to them for quite a while. So it's just telling you to not be worried, because this is within this 12 months, within this year, that something much better is going to happen. Yeah. So not to be stuck with whatever's ended or whatever's not not going forward for you. Yeah. Could be a change in anything. So then we have the next one. So if there's something you're trying to work out in your life and you're not getting that anywhere with it, it's because you haven't done enough looking into it. You haven't researched it enough. You haven't studied what's going on enough. So what it's saying is look into the matter further. So say you were going for IVF, say you were thinking of having IVF, it would be look into the doctors further, look into the hospital further, look into the reviews on that place. If it's a course you wanted to do, say you wanted to learn Irish, say look at which colleges do the best that suit you. You know, what days, what hours. So whatever it is you can't get through at the moment, look into it a little bit further. It will show you the way through. Yeah. So then we have the next one. And I don't know about this. You're not all going to get married, but this is saying that a wedding or a marriage will cause joy for a lot of people. Yeah. So it says here, the fairies join you in celebrating wedded bliss. So there may be a wedding you're going to be going to this year, and it's going to be a joyful event. Yeah. So some happiness or joy is going to come to you from this wedding. So it might not be your wedding. It's not your wedding. So it's a wedding that's going to happen this year. And what's something joyful is going to come from that. Might be someone you meet there, might be an idea you have there, whatever. So that's the 6 messages. So then we're going to go to the 6 words. So they were fairies. Now what I'm going to do, Celine, is I'm going to take a photograph of this so you can give it to anybody who wants it.
Oh,
If anybody
perfect.
wants
Thank you.
it, yeah, I'll send it to you by email. So
Perfect.
they can reread these afterwards if they want, or they can hold them, you know,
Yeah.
if it applies to them. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the next one. Manifestation. It's a year of manifestation. So manifestation is what you wish for, what you want to manifest. Okay. So to manifest the best life, you want to aim high. You want to ask for the best things possible for you this year. Yeah. So if you don't tell the universe what you want, it's not going to happen. Yeah. The universe has to hear you. The universe has to know what you want. Okay. So to manifest what you want, you need to let people know about it. You need to let either the people involved know, or you need to send it out to the universe. You need to go, it's across from, I don't know if you'll see it in photo, this manifestation and affirmations across from each other.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
use the positive affirmations to get what you want. So say you wanted a new car. Yeah. You don't say, I want a new car, because that means you'll always want a new car. Yeah. So you say, I love my car. I love the new car I have.
Yeah.
If it's in the present moment. Yeah. If it's a relationship and I really want to be going out with him, it's like, I love that me and him are together. Bring it back into the present moment, and that helps you manifest. Now, it's the summer is the card that's gone in between the 3 of those. So if you start manifesting now, you'll probably come through by the summer. Yeah. So the next card, then we have intention. Look, it's all about intention. Isn't that weird?
I know. We're
About
talking about that.
intention.
Yeah.
And that's come right next to manifestation.
Yeah.
So it's the intention you put out. So if you say, I'll never have enough money for that, you're never going to have enough money for that. If you say, I'm so happy I've got enough money for that, or the intention, if you intend that somebody, if you intend badness towards somebody, like that's a karmic thing, it's probably going to come back. Yeah. So whatever intentions you have, make them pure, make them light, and make them true to you. So if you intend to leave a job this year, yeah, you've got the manifestation next to it. You're well able to manifest another job, yeah, or that sort of thing. So it's just giving people ideas of what they. People read this and they read it into their own life, they'll see more from it as well. So the next card, then, this is a year, we know that already because we've been talking about Ascension for the last hour. So it's a year of spiritual growth. So that means there may be a few more little hurdles coming up, because you can only grow spiritually for each hurdle you cross. So it means that there's going to be more to help you grow this year. Yeah. Now that's fallen in line with the goodbye to the old, hello to the new. So it might be that something's leaving you for your benefit of your spiritual growth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have this, and look, this funny way they fall. So you have spiritual growth, you have new beginnings, and the new beginnings is right next to goodbye to the old, hello to the new.
Yeah. Well, we keep hearing, isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
year of completions and beginnings, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
new beginnings,
Yeah.
she's also holding the world in her hand, if you see in the card.
Yeah.
So new
Beautiful.
beginnings for the world as well. Yeah. So so you are going to get a new beginning. So don't worry that something's ending at the moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have two more.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of healing going on, and it's also next to spiritual growth. So there's a lot of healing going on now. So maybe when this goodbye to the old, hello to the new is happening, you might feel like you need a bit of healing. And then when the healing has happened, it might take a little while for the healing to happen. Then the new beginnings will come. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and the last card you have here is balance, the need for balance and compromise. So, if something's unbalanced at the moment, to not hold on to something too much because you can smash it. So don't hold on too tight to something. If it's something you really want, don't let it go too easily. The best way to live life is to go with the flow by just going with the flow of the situation, not holding on too tight and not let go too easy. Yeah, because there's
Yeah.
a need for little bit of need for balance in your life. But it's okay that you've got the need for balance because you have a new beginning coming and you've got the goodbye to the old, hello to the new. So the imbalance will probably be going. You'll probably work through it this year, bringing you to the new beginning. Lots of spiritual growth and healing. And whatever it is, the balance may be affecting your manifestation qualities. So when you start going with the flow and just be open to the outcome, that's when the manifestation will occur better for you. Yeah. And I'd say something good around the summer months. Yeah. Here
Lovely.
with that. So I hope, is that okay?
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Few more months to go.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's only from like June this summer, really, isn't it? When you think
It
of
is, yeah. And all the astrology seems to support that from what I see. This we're going into a big month of a lot of shifts and eclipses and lineups of planets that we've never seen, from what I'm hearing, anyways, in ever. So it's like the stars are aligning to
that.
move us. And it's like what we were talking about, and you were saying earlier, the dark and the light and how it's all needed, that it's even more of a reminder from what you said there, Nora, is not to get too lost in if something difficult comes up in your life or in the world, because we can't create, the new what we want if we're totally out of balance and lost in something. And see it so much in my own life when I got lost in a story of something that might be difficult. I sort of nearly block, what's wanting to come through. So that reminder to come back into balance and going to healers like you or whoever we need, whatever way we need to do it, aligning our chakras, clearing is is sort
Yeah.
of what's really important this year, it feels. And your dog is agreeing,
Patch, yeah. He's just woke up.
Patch.
Yeah. He's,
Oh, thank you.
oh, you're welcome. You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much, Nora.
So what I'll do is I'll photograph this for you and send it over. So if anyone wants the spread, so they can go through it themselves and have a look, or even keep it, or they can keep it on a picture on their phone or whatever, and they can be looking back at it as the year goes on. It might give them a bit of help, or guidance. And
Yeah, that's
see.
beautiful. That's
Yeah,
it's really lovely. It's a really uplifting
yeah,
message because it feels that's what it does feel like, the energy of this year. So it's really
yeah.
lovely, really supportive. We do this together. I keep sort of feeling that, don't we?
We
If we
do.
all hold that intention,
Yeah,
that's
and the
what
more
we'll
of us that hold it, the better. Yeah. And even though there's just me and you right doing this talk now before people listen in, the energy of these cards is going to the people that need it. So whoever listens in these cards are for them, as well.
exactly, because
Yeah.
not everyone's going to listen in. So
Yeah.
whoever listens in, enjoy.
Yeah.
And yeah, set your intention, and a beautiful, beautiful year ahead with everything that goes on. So thank you so much, Nora.
Oh, you're
Really
welcome.
appreciate it. It was lovely to catch up again
Yeah.
after a year and a half. We won't leave it so long. I'll have to head out to a retreat in Connemara
Yeah. And you're welcome.
soon.
I
Yeah.
love seeing you, Celine. I love your
Uh,
lovely smile. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for listening and watching, and to Nora, and until the next time, lots
Yeah.
of love. Take care for now. Bye.
Bye. Bye.